between an irrigation scheme and a dam. Okay, a dam holds water. Okay, the irrigation brings water from the water body into the dam. The whole idea in the MPP manifesto, one village, one dam, which was concentrated up north, was one. They only have one major planting season, just one. Unlike the south where we have a major and a minor. Now the rains there are very heavy within a very short period of time. And then when it rains, the water just runs off. So the idea was that then let's build these dugouts to hold the water, the rain water.
Okay.
So we've done 574 or so of them. And that has served the purpose very well in terms of holding the rain water. In this case, there were no rains.
Yesterday, you talked about the devastating impact of the long spell of drought and how government intends to rectify this situation. You've made an allocation of about 8 billion cedis compensation figure for the farmers. How did you arrive at this figure?
If you look at the total number of farmers, okay, and what it costs to plant an acre. To plant an acre, you need 3 bags of NPK, 1 bag of urea, okay, and the maize seeds.
So by the number of acres?
So if you calculate the fertilizer that you need, okay, which is about about 2,100, and then you multiply by the number of acres, okay, we estimated about $268 million that is required to buy inputs. If you put that together, $268 million is more than 3 billion. So the actual amount required is way more than 8 billion. And the reason is this. We cannot fully compensate the farmers for all their investment loss.
All right, so you heard that interview with Brian Echampon, who is the Greek minister. Let me go on the phone lines now and speak to Dr. Ibrahim Denka Kayama. He's an Greek engineer and also lecturer. Thank you very much, sir, for your time, and good to have you on News 360. So government says, based on its limited budget, it is unable to meet the country's entire irrigation needs. The reason why it's making available some 8 billion cedis, mainly to support farmers who've been affected by the dry weather conditions to ensure we have food security. Is that enough justification?
Thank you for having me. Actually, this is I believe it's a short-term measure that the government is taking to be able to solve the immediate problem that we have at hand. But in the long run, we definitely need government to take in education up north. That will be a measure to be able to deal with situations that we have found on the ground. But in the immediate measure, I think government will have to be able to come to the aid of the farmers that have been affected. And I believe that the amount as they have indicated is not going to be able to solve or to be able to compensate all the losses, but at least to be able to push in the farmers. I think it is in the right direction.
The minister also talks about the 574 dugouts that have been constructed across the country as part of the one village, one dam policy, and says they've all served their purpose, but insists that the difficulty has been with inadequate rainfall. And so that's how come we find ourselves in this situation.
Well, we have seen documentaries of some of them that even during the dry season when they are supposed to care, because mostly farmers up north they do the irrigation mostly at the dry season. And so if the dams cannot be able to hold enough water, It may be used for watering livestock, but for irrigation purposes, we don't even just have to have a dark house. We need even canal that will be able to transport the water from the reservoir to the irrigable area. So clearly, these are dark house, and they cannot really serve the purpose of meeting the irrigation needs of most of the farmers. So if you attend, what will happen is that at the time that you need the water the most, the dams are likely to dry up. So if the government would want to invest into irrigation, then they must ensure that the proper investment is put in place so that you have irrigation systems that will last till the next season. And I think that this particular intervention, one village, one dam, because of the amount of money that was involved, really we cannot be able to have a meaningful irrigation system that has served the purpose of the irrigation needs of our farmers at now.
I'm afraid we've got to leave it here. Thank you very much, Dr. Ibrahim, who is an agric scientist, helping us to do some analysis on this latest move by government.
In more news tonight, forensic scientists from the Ghana National Fire Service have begun investigations into the cause of fire at Job 600. All activities in the Parliamentary Office building at Parliament House was brought to a halt because of the fire outbreak. A report by Grace Hamwa Ajaman.
The Government Assurance Committee was meeting with the Works and Housing Minister Kojo Ponkoma when the fire started. The outbreak occurred around 9:45 a.m., compelling staff and members of Parliament to rush out of their offices to the open space between the administration block and the Job 600. It took 3 tenders and firemen about an hour and a half to douse the fire.
It is like a storeroom because we have some storage items there. Initially, we saw a flame, so we assumed that was the start of fire. It's been tackled. The place is very smoky now, but at the moment, the situation is very calm.
Chief Fire Officer Julius Kuno assured that the fire was under control and the situation had been salvaged.
Fortunately, we have stations around to cover the place, so there's no problem. I should not go. We have better, appliances. Fortunately, government procured us 2 hydraulic platforms. They can even go to the 16th to 17th floor. So we have hydraulic platform, but because we are in the 2nd floor, we didn't need any hydraulic platform or turntable ladder here.
Though the cause of the fire is yet not known, the fire service has begun investigations into what might have started the fire. The chief fire officer has given the strongest indication that the 40th fire tender here at the Parliament House is likely to return by close of the week, so that in case of subsequent or future outbreaks, attempts to douse the fire might be easier and better. Grace Hamwa Ajaman, TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
Let's now head over to the Malamata market, where we understand there is a fire outbreak over there, and Stanley Ni Blewu is over there. We understand there's a fire outbreak close to a private facility over there. Stanley, thank you so much for your time. Tell us more about this incident.
So, Portia, I must report that about 6 p.m., quite some few minutes ago, fire broke out at the Malata enclave. This time around, it wasn't the market itself, but rather a private facility close to the Malamata market. And it is also located close by the road linking Newtown to Newtown and Nima as well. So when it broke, the occupant is a one-story building, edited. And the down floor is actually being occupied by some traders, shops, accommodating some shops. And the top floor is also serving as accommodation facility for some residents here. But it was a section of this story building that got scattered by the fire. It happened at a time the occupants of the facility were not at home. And then those trading at the first floor, they had also closed and they were about going home. And the incident happened. And so they had to quickly rush back to their shop to salvage some of the things that, some of the wares that they are selling. And so the timely intervention of the Ghana National Fire Service has been able to save the situation. As I speak, the fire service has been able to douse the fire, contain the fire. And so everything has been calm here at the moment.
Stanley, thank you so much for your time. And Stanley Nee Blue giving us an update about a fire outbreak at a private facility close to the Malamata market.
Right, Portia, let's do some other stories now. And Cocoa Board, in collaboration with National Security, has intercepted a fuel tanker with some 178 bags of smuggled cocoa beans valued at over 360,000 cedis. The intention by the 3 arrested persons was to smuggle the beans to neighboring country, Togo.
Smuggling is a practice Cocoa Board does not take lightly, as it erodes all gains made in improving the sector. It has been one of the major challenges bedeviling the growth of the sector, aside some climate-related shortfalls. A recent attempt by some 3 persons to smuggle cocoa beans to Togo has been foiled by Cocoa Board in collaboration with National Security. Fuel tanker meant for hauling petroleum product was used for the heinous act.
The minimum punishment is 5 years. The maximum is 10 years. It does not admit to a fine. And so, even if you have sufficient money, you cannot be fined by a court. Even if the judge wants to help you, his hands are tied. He cannot do it. And so, anybody who wants to buy cocoa should rather come to Cocoa Board, apply to Cocoa Board, and go through the process. Otherwise, your cocoa will be confiscated, you'll be prosecuted and sentenced, and then your truck or whatever you are using may be forfeited to the state.
Cocoa Board has vowed to crack the whip to ensure sanity prevails in the sector.
Cocoa Board and National Security and other operatives, we are firmly on the ground. Disguise the cocoa in some other way, we'll manage to get you. People put them in boxes and cover them with some other items. We get them. People put them in jerry cans. We get them. They put them in buckets, paint buckets. We get them. They put them in tipper troughs and cover them with chippings. We get them. They put them in tankers. Now we have gotten them. So they should stop.
Cocoa Board has also identified areas, including Suhum, Kede, Asamankese as the hub of cocoa bean smuggling.
Let's now go to the Ashanti region, where the Asante Hene Otumfuose to the second has distilled the Jase Hene, Bemo Hene, and Achame Hene of Sabronum for superintending over illegal mining, locally referred to as Galamsey. This was after the overlord of the Asanteman conducted a thorough investigation and found the chiefs guilty.
The youth and some elders of Sabronum on Monday, August 19, 2024, presented a petition to the Asante to investigate and bring to book the people behind the emergence of illegal mining in the community, as they suspected the involvement of some traditional leaders. Galamsey is gradually killing us here at Sabronum. Our water bodies are being destroyed. Some of the community leaders are involved in the illegal activity. We now have to buy water to drink when we go to our farms.
Yes, we are quite from Cragis, a tonsio near Nom Galamseno, and Penyon Mufa, na Eddie Galamseno, and him, no more Juhusika, Eddie.
Because most of our leaders are behind the Galamsey, they don't want us to wage war against the menace. But for the love we have for our community, we the youth have decided to use every means possible to protect our land. After conducting his investigation, the Asante on Monday, August 26, ruled that the 3 traditional leaders who have been entrusted with the task of taking care of Sabronum be relieved of their traditional duties for engaging in illegal mining. You've been asked to take care of the community, but you failed. I've been informed about your involvement in illegal mining for a long time. The report I have has your names in it. If I allow you to hold on to your positions, you will destroy the community. If the DC has not been able to arrest you, I will personally cause your arrest if you leave here today and still continue with the illegality. Because of your selfish interests, women in your community are struggling to get potable water. Effective today, you've been distilled. More chiefs in other Galamsey-prone communities are expected to suffer from the same fate in the days to come. This is to deter traditional authorities from having a hand in the destruction of the same community they have been tasked to protect, and also to help in the fight against Galamsey. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
Well, this is your Election Command Center, and this is where you need to be for all election-related stories. To the camp of the National Democratic Congress now, and its flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, has questioned the commitment of the NPP flag bearer to the economic records of his own government, chastising him for disowning President Akufo-Addo's budget. John Mahama has been speaking on day one of his two-day Greater Accra campaign. Here's a report by my colleague, Komla Kluche.
A media encounter by the NPP flag bearer ran down in the words of John Mahama.
You know, the intention for doing that media encounter the next day after we had announced our manifesto was to turn the attentions of Ghanaian from the NDC manifesto. That was the main reason that they decided to do a media encounter the very next day after we launched our manifesto. But you see, when you do something with devious intention, it backfires on you. If there are people who are smooth talkers, who can speak rat-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta like machine gun, the time when they become stammerers and they start stammering, you know they are lying. Somebody who can speak ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta like AK-47, suddenly media encounter, I think,
Dr. Bawumia's briefing on the state of affairs in the country as the head of the economic management team is further questioned.
He said something that when the budget is presented, whose name is on it? It's the president's name. It's not my name. This is the first time I've seen a vice president running away from his president's track record. Government is a continuum. Government is a whole. Government is a collective. And what we have in democratic government is collective responsibility. You all take collective responsibility for what happened. I was the head of the economic management team under Professor Mills. When the budget was going to Parliament, the budget was in the name of Professor Mills. But I never ever disowned Professor Mills's budget. Because the budget comes to cabinet, we all argue and decide what the budget should be before it goes to Parliament.
Both the NDC and MPP launched their manifestos, but the NDC says a ploy to court disaffection for them was deployed by the ruling government. Day one of the tour in the swing region of Greater Accra took the flag bearer of the NDC to Ada, Sege, Ashaman, among others. John Mahama is assuring the region of its equal share of the national cake should he get the nod to serve his final 4-year non-renewable term. From Black Lucha, TV3 News,
More than 50 areas have been identified as potential flashpoints in the Ashanti region ahead of the December 7 election. At the launch of the Akuma FM 2024 election coverage, political parties and other stakeholders in the electioneering process pledged to maintain peace before, during and after the elections. Ibrahim Abubakar has more.
Elections in Ghana since 1992 have largely been peaceful, even though pockets of violence have constantly been recorded. In recent times, however, there have been concerns about the military playing a front row duty in election process. The shooting incident at Techima South Collation Center that resulted in the death of 3 in December 2020 has strengthened calls not to deploy military to electoral centers. Speaking at the official launch of Akuma FM's election 2024 coverage, the Deputy Defense Minister, Kofi Amankwa-Menu, guaranteed that the military will do nothing short of protecting the peace of the country.
The military do not play the front row lead. It is the police. The military only comes in to assist. That is what we've been doing over the period. And this is also allowed by our constitution. So I don't see why we are so worried about the military assisting the police. The soldiers have been spoken to, the soldiers have been taken through a lot of training, and I can assure every Ghanaian that the soldiers will go out there to do that which will keep the peace and the security of our nation.
Ashanti Regional Minister, who also doubles as the head of Security Council in the region, Simon Osei-Mensah, said steps have been taken to prevent electoral violence.
During elections, we always identify some hotspots, and we are going to make sure that we police these places such that we won't have any trouble in any of them.
The Electoral Commission assured Ghanaians of credible and transparent elections.
I mean, since 1992 that we started doing these elections, I mean, we always pass the test. On the December 7th, Commission will definitely declare whoever wins on merit.
Management of Akuma FM, a subsidiary of Media General, is promising nothing but comprehensive, timely, and accurate coverage before, during, and after the December 7 elections.
The coverage this year, we're saying we're bringing to our cherished listeners and viewers every detail that they need to have. Will serve this devoid of sensationalism, unprofessionalism, and favoritism. If you want to get all the authentic results, if you want to get it true and as it is, depend on Akuma 87.9 FM in the Ashanti region and Media General across board.
So the ball has been set rolling on the election coverage here at Akuma FM. This is your election command center. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
You're still watching News 360 live here from our studios here at Adesawe in Kanda, Accra. Now, safety on most major roads across the country is being compromised owing to non-functioning of street lights. In Kumasi, the situation, according to city authorities, continues to contribute to the surge in pedestrian knockdowns and fatalities. Ibrahim Abubakar has the rest of the story.
Driving and crossing on some major roads within Greater Kumasi at night is increasingly becoming uncomfortable and risky. While some street lights work intermittently, others have remained non-functional for a long period of time, posing a threat to the safety of motorists and pedestrians. These street lights meant to enhance visibility at night have rather turned into a decorative facility. Records from the National Road Safety Authority indicate that between January and June this year, over 100 pedestrians have died from vehicular knockdown in Kumasi alone, and most of these incidents occurred at night.
If you look at places like, let's say, from Stressful to Aputoja coming to Asqua area, from, I think, Dompasi Junction area, driving at night is not the best. So the assembly school also help to light the roads, also enhance passengers pedestrian safety along that stretch also.
Notable roads without functioning street lights are the Asqua and Loga Junction New Road, Suso and Sutek Junction Road, and Atonso Agogo Esresu Road, among others. The darkness on our streets is not only causing road fatalities, but contributing to crime.
Anytime you are kurana, end week na say do.
For this stretch, anytime they fix the street lights, it doesn't function for more than a week. And when the lights are off, criminals take advantage of the darkness to rob and hurt passers-by. There is a bus stop few meters from here, and walking there is very dangerous because of the darkness. I've personally been robbed there. Authorities should fix the street lights. Using this road is dangerous because of poor visibility. When someone or an animal is crossing, you hardly see, and it often leads to knockdowns. If the light were to be functioning, most of these knockdowns could be avoided. Chief Executive of Kumasi Metropolis, Samuel Pine, responded to the issue.
Currently, we're distributing through the MPs and through the Assembly, we're distributing 50 pieces to all the 40 electoral areas through the Assembly members for installation where they see to be darkness. And therefore, we're working assiduously towards that. We're also being in touch with the Ghana Police Service and the military to help us with security, especially the portions that we have people vandalizing the cables, stealing the cables, and the rest. So that's what we are working on.
Road users want city authorities to fix all street lights to improve security. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
And I must remind you that this is part of our ongoing campaign. And if you go on Twitter, or we call it X these days, the hashtag is Fix the Light, hashtag Light Up Ghana.
Away from the campaign, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources says it will reward any of the 16 regional capitals that emerges winner in the second phase of the graphic Zoom Lion Cleanest Region Ranking campaign. Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan, made this known when management of Graphic Communications Group and partners paid her a visit.
The visit was to brief the minister about the Graphic Cleaners Region Ranking campaign following a successful implementation of one of the phases of the project in 2021. Dubbed the Cleaners Region Ranking campaign, the project is to rank the various regions in terms of how they are managing environmental sanitation, particularly solid and liquid waste.
This whole idea is to make all of us conscious of the fact that we have a role to play keeping our environment. We believe strongly that if we are able to achieve this, for free budgets to address other problems that we have as a nation, and we will all live healthier, better lives, and improved lives.
The campaign forms part of Graphic Zoomline corporate social responsibility towards a clean environment. Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan, reiterated government's commitment in addressing sanitation challenges in the country.
This is an initiative that I'm grateful to Daily Graphic, and we are ready 100% to collaborate with them to ensure that we see the success of this initiative.
She commended both Zoomline and Graphic Communication and pledged her support for the campaign.
We are expecting some equipment soon. We would definitely award or give prizes in the form of dredging or desalting equipment to the regions that will win the cleanest city.
The ultimate aim of Cleaners Region Ranking campaign is to promote high standards of hygiene in communities across the country in accordance with Sustainable Development Goal 6, which addresses access to clean water and sanitation.
Reminder, still watching News 360, our major news bulletin for the day. We're going to go for a quick break. When we return, the very latest in the world of business.
It's now time for business news with Michael Ododu. And Michael, PBC is in the news.
Yeah, Pakwisi here has been speaking to the Agric Minister on the current state of affairs with him. So the details now. Hello there, good evening. Welcome to the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Now, in a bid to revitalize the ailing PBC, government is injecting 66 million cedis rather, to enhance its operations and relevance in the cocoa sector. Formerly known as Produce Buying Company, PBC has not been able to meet its financial and operational obligations to a point of near collapse. Speaking on Business Focus, Food and Agriculture Minister Dr. Brian Champon noted that the company has lost trust with Cocoa Board.
PBC is in a bad shape. You know, when I came in, the brief that I got, they are virtually lost trust with Cocoa Board because investment that I've been giving them over the years, over 10 years, it's all been losses. Okay, every time Cocoa Board gives them money, they are not able to report back and pay the full loan. And they are in debt. I think about 200 million Ghana cedis.
For which reason the court has ordered for the assets to be
Yes, the company incurred losses. Okay, the company, not government. The company has incurred losses.
The company which has government appointing people onto.
It doesn't matter how many people will government appoint to PBC. Two people. The chunk of the workers, 1,000 of them.
What about the board?
But the board is made up of institutional representation. Right. Okay? So, look, when we say government, it's not one or two, it's you and I, our behavior. Government has approved 66 million Ghana cedis to negotiate with the banks, pay them down, to allow for Cocoa Board is afraid that when they put money into PBC, the banks will swallow it. Right. So once the banks have some money, which government has given 66 million, they will be at peace. Cocoa Board will now give money to PBC for them to go and buy cocoa and pay the rest of the debt, without the fear that when the money gets to them, the banks will not swallow it.
Now, Finance Minister Dr. Mohammed Adam has expressed optimism about boosting Ghana's oil revenue following the discovery of new wells. Concerns have been raised over declining oil revenues, with institutions like the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, PIAC, calling for increased investment in exploration. Speaking at the 2024 Future of Energy Conference, Dr. Amin Adam assured that efforts are underway to develop these wells, aiming to generate the needed funds for national development.
We have so far distributed crude oil revenues of approximately $10.6 billion as of today to the allowable designated accounts provided for in the Petroleum Revenue Management Act. Even though annual crude oil receipts constitute a little over 1% of GDP in Ghana, we still have a vast potential in this sector. We are thus working on developing the newly discovered fields with significant reserves to ensure that we generate additional revenues to support our development efforts. All these fields, when developed, will increase Ghana's revenues and allow us to implement various government projects to help put in place the infrastructure required to advance our country sustainably. And we can do this bearing in mind the effect on our climate.
The Ghana Chamber of Mines aims to boost female participation in the mining sector by more than 200% over the next decade. Currently, women represent only about 10% of the total workforce in the mining industry, highlighting concerns about gender inclusion in these traditionally male-dominated fields. However, speaking at the Chamber's 6th HR conference, CEO Engineer Suleiman Kone emphasized the Chamber's commitment to changing this narrative through a range of policy initiatives.
All the critical issues which adversely affect the employment of women in the mining industry are being considered. Whether you're talking about dedicated places for nursing moms, the kind of protective clothing which are female friendly, and so on and so forth. So there are a number of initiatives, and we can see that the numbers are increasing. A few years ago it was not up to 10%. But we can see that the numbers are actually moving up, which is a positive thing for us. We just need to do a lot more. engaging with female folk within the mining industry, understanding what the challenges are, and putting in place those measures to ensure that we have that pipeline of females coming through. Well, our target is about 30%, so we have a long way to go. And that's why we continue to organize these conferences, so that the best practices globally can be brought to bear. Probably in the next 10 years or so, So the whole idea is to learn from each other and learn from, best practices globally, and to really help us to achieve our targets.
Now, the Ghana Statistical Service has launched a Ghana Stats app aimed at making data accessible, especially for the business community and government. According to government statistician Professor Samuel Kobna Enim, access to statistical data enables institutions and individuals to make informed decisions on social and economic issues.
The Ghana Stats app is a user-friendly mobile application that allows data users to access levels and ranks for all 261 districts in Ghana and indicators at the national and regional levels. The mobile stats app provides statistics for 2021 on 23 indicators under 9 Vision 2057 focal areas, including population management, employment, decent work, poverty, and inequality.
It will be an easy platform to engage with statistics, and more importantly, at the governmental level, it will be the basis for which we say that we are developing performance indicators at the regional level and at the sub-regional level, because now this platform has provided data which, even if we are not looking at things retrospectively, we're going to look at things prospectively, because it will be the basis to measure our progress at the sub-national level going forward.
According to the IT officer at the Ghana Statistical Service, Ahmed Salim Adam, the development of the Ghana Stats app responds to the demand for accessible and user-friendly statistical tools to support decision-making.
And how do you know what people need? It comes from the data. With the right data set, it's very easy for data users or business users to make the right decisions. As a business owner, this tells you that you have the data right at your doorstep, and you can easily make decisions which are user-centered to boost your business and the economy at large.
The 2021 population and housing census revealed over 73% persons in Ghana own mobile phones.
Well, that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodu. Up next is sports.
Hello, good evening. Time now to do sports here on News 360. My name is Yao Fusulabi. Now, the 30th Congress of the Ghana Football Association took place at the Ghana Man's Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram Pram earlier today, with key decisions made in Ghana football. Billy Shen was at the Congress and put together 5 key takeaways from the event.
Earlier, Keto Kreku, who is the president of the Ghana Football Association, announced that the GFA expended 2,006,000 Ghana cedis as prize money to the various divisions. Also, it was mentioned that in a bid to improve the integrity of the league, there is an integrity form which has been brought by the Ghana Football Association. The executive council members have already signed the integrity form and is expected to be passed on to affiliates of the Ghana Football Association, including footballers, and there will be sanctions if these integrity forms are not signed. The Ghana Football Association are looking to improve it even further by bringing 2 new natural grass pitches to this facility here in Pram Pram, kind courtesy of the FIFA forward. The Ghana Football Association has announced that they are appointing 10 referees, 5 male, 5 females, on the payroll of the Ghana Football Association, and so they will be paid every single month to discharge their duties as referees in Ghana football. Ashanti Gold is one of the biggest clubs in Ghana football, but they were suspended indefinitely last year by the GFA due to a betting scandal that happened in 2021. Now, fans of Ashanti Gold came all the way from Obuasi to Pram Pram earlier before the start of the Congress to beg the Ghana Football Association to reverse that suspension, to lift that suspension from the club so they can have an opportunity to compete once again and play football. However, this was not discussed as part of the agenda in the Congress, and so The suspension still stands and Ashanti Gold remains suspended. The next major thing on Ghana football landscape is the Ghana Premier League, which is expected to start on the 6th of September this year. 18 teams will be battling for the trophy that was won by Samatex last season. Bilishan, Pathé Sports from the Ghana Soccer Center of Excellence in Papam.
That was Bill there. Let's move on now to some more stories. And Black Stars midfielder Mohammed Kudus traded Ajax for West Ham United, and in just a season, he has transformed from a promising talent into the Hammers talisman. Ore Kwampofo takes a look at how Kudus has made the Premier League his own.
A year ago today, Mohammed Kudus swapped the red and white of Ajax for the claret and blue of West Ham. Little did the Hammers know they were acquiring not just a player, but a phenomenon. In 365 days, the Ghanaian maestro has set the Premier League alight with his dazzling skills and eye for the spectacular. With 14 goals and 6 assists, Kudus has quickly become West Ham's talisman. His impact felt far beyond mere statistics. Kudus' flair on the ball is unmatched. He became the first player since his debut to complete 100 take-ons in the Premier League, leaving defenders in his wake with mesmerizing footwork. But it's his taste for the extraordinary that has truly captured fans' imagination worldwide. Who could forget his solo masterpiece against Freiburg, weaving through the defense of the German club to claim the Europa League goal of the season? Or the gravity-defying overhead kick against Manchester City that briefly left their fans on the edge of their seats on the final day of last season? The bicycle kick against Brentford, each goal a work of art, each iconic seated post celebration a signature moment. At just 24, Kudus is only scratching the surface of his potential. As West Ham fans eagerly anticipate what the next year might bring, one thing is certain: Mohammed Kudus has made London Stadium his personal canvas, and he's just getting started.
Good evening and welcome to the Entertainment News segment. My name is Anita Ikia Ikufu, and a total of 64 events and festivals have been endorsed by the Ghana Tourism Authority and the Beyond the Return Secretariat as part of the 2024 December in Ghana campaign. And notable among them are the Creative Arts Festival, Rhythms on the Runway, the Taste of Ghana Festival, Dirty Rave, and a host of others.
Since 2019, the month of December has recorded the largest tourist arrivals in the country due to the Tourism Authority's December in Ghana tourism campaign, a key growth to Ghana's tourism ecosystem, making Ghana the one tourism destination in West Africa for the month of December. The initiative seeks to give tourists ample time to coordinate the activities and festivals they wish to include in their itineraries for December.
December in Ghana is more than just a festive season. It is a celebration of everything Ghanaian. Our music, our fashion, food, film, amongst others. It brings together Ghanaians, the diaspora, and the global travelers to experience our vibrant traditions, music, dance, and cuisine. Indeed, through initiatives like December in Ghana, we cultivate a platform for cultural exchange, artistic expression, and economic growth. Our goal, therefore, is to create harmonious synergy among tourism, arts, and culture sectors, an alignment that is critically essential to delivering authentic Ghanaian experiences to the world.
Speaking at the unveiling of the event, Kwesi Agyeman, CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, highlighted that the events are meticulously chosen to cater to both Ghanaians and, importantly, people from the diaspora.
The first 64 is what we have adored, and it's carefully crafted. We've done a lot of due diligence, making sure that the event organizers are people with the capacity to organize the events. They have clearly laid out plans, health and safety issues, security are all in place. And so we appreciate everybody who has been part of this journey of projecting Ghana. Now, wherever you go, Ghana is seen as the go-to place for events and a place for entertainment when it comes to December. Although this is an election year, a few people are quite anxious whether the events will happen. We want to assure you that all these events are carefully crafted. The event organizers are well placed, they have the capacity, they have the resources, and we believe that corporate Ghana will also support them so that we can have a very good December period.
In total, the Ghana Tourism Authority has endorsed 64 events and festivals for the first phase of December in Ghana project. Among these are notable events like the Creative Arts Festival, Rhythms on the Runway, Taste of Ghana Festival, Dirty Rave, and more.
That'll be all for the Entertainment News segment.